Okay, the new normal and the global fascist police state we are now living in is the only way I can describe it. Now, when the pandemic started, uh, for years people had TV shows and have talked about a global pandemic and how it would affect the world, along with solar flares, meteorite strikes, and all the other natural disasters, okay, on the long list of things to worry about. So, the global pandemic was one that everybody was really nervous about. So it happened. The minute it happened, they started using the term, the new normal. This is the new normal. Right from the start. This wasn't a few months after projections or an assessment of what was happening or who was ill or how bad this was. They told us right from the very beginning, this is the new normal. Kind of makes it look like this has all been planned, okay? So, it started this week. Today's Thursday. It was 2 days ago on Friday. In North Carolina, a group of people came out and protested in Raleigh. They were small business owners basically protesting that they have to open the state up and lift these restrictions or these people are going to financially go under. So a group of these people went to the state capitol and were protesting, just holding signs, standing in the parking lot. Okay, this was Tuesday. And of course it got news coverage, and the third warning when the police came, told them everybody leave or you're going to be arrested. And one woman did, I guess out of that 1960s protest, stood there and was arrested. Okay, so they arrested one person that did it more or less symbolically to get on the news, which is understandable. Okay, but they did let some of the people talk and voice their opinions. Okay, and it's because they're saying it, and now you're starting to hear it. Our constitutional rights are being stripped away. Our civil liberties are being stripped away, and our livelihood, our ability to generate money is being taken away from us. All without a war, all without an overthrow of the government because of a virus. Okay? So here, it's starting, the longer this goes on, because they're talking about extending this another month. All right, they had the governor, Roy Cooper. Oh, well, I'm not going to do anything that's hazardous in this. Well, what's really going on here? Then again, the numbers game. People are questioning these numbers and the sources that they come from. Okay, that was another thing these people were bringing up. They said he has some sort of projected or actual numbers, the governor, that he is not releasing to the public. Okay? So there's accusations of this. And who knows what to believe? Okay? How do you know anything reported by anybody is real? How do you know anything I'm saying is real? How do you know I am real? Okay? So, and interestingly enough, the next day when all of this come out and they had the protests on the news, all of a sudden these numbers popped up, more reported cases, more deaths overnight, this huge bump up, to justify the governor saying we're going to keep this state's economy closed longer is what it's looking like. So that's it here in my home state, but also on Tuesday there is another YouTube channel, a woman, Liberty Doll. I'll try to either put a card or I'll put a link to her video. And this is where, like people say you're an alarmist or you're starting to panic and this and that. Well, she said the same thing in her video. Please watch it. I'm not. Okay, you can call me anything. You can say I'm wasting my time, I'm just aggravating people. That's great. You can call me anything you want. Crackpot, crazy person. As long as you don't call me prisoner and a series of number after it, I don't care what anyone calls me from now until the day I die. Okay, because what it looks like is this fascist state is coming up. And in her video, it's about the state of Rhode Island. And I guess this is true. You know, I mean, some of these people go to a larger extent to report things than I do. She has the governor's orders and everything else. They not only sealed their borders, but anyone traveling into the state of Rhode Island, they sent the police and the National Guard on a house-to-house search to see if people were harboring people who came from another state. So if you had a car parked in your yard with New York State plates on it, they came to your house. They asked you who's living here, who's in this house, do you have any visitors, are you sheltering someone who has traveled from outside the state? Now this is true. This is not made up. I mean, she had the news clips from the local news where the National Guard and the police are doing this. They're searching people's homes and they're asking you, like in a military police state, who is in this building? Who is in here? You know. And it was if you had New York State plates on a car. If you had a car where you didn't have plates on it, they thought people would remove the license plate so a police car driving through would see it, they go search your house. If you're a resident and work out of state, which a lot of people who live on borders, you know, close to the state line, may drive 40 minutes, an hour into another state, work and come back home, okay? And those people have to be quarantined. If you're hiding a friend, relative, your cousin, your grandmother came from New York to stay with you, then they're searching, actively searching for these people, all right? They are quarantining them. They are locking them up. And they're going on a house-to-house search to find them, which is a scary thing to happen here in the United States. Okay, so when I say fascist police state, it is starting already in some areas. And this is something that we all must be aware of, and we all must be on guard to guard our liberties, because if they don't, using this pretext of the virus, the United States no longer exists, okay? If we cannot protest, if we cannot demand from our government to do something, okay, and they tell us it's a pandemic, you have no choice, then the United States, in my opinion, no longer exists, okay? So that's something to think about. And the next video is going to be on the economic war going on, because that's even getting worse. And I'm seeing now I'm starting to get the general picture of what's going to happen. And this new norm, that's another thing. They're already telling us that even if they lift these restrictions and open the economy back up in the fall, this is all going to happen all over again. All this stay-at-home orders shutting down the U.S. economy and this and that. This is insanity. You're talking about the destruction of this country. You're talking about the destruction of the global economy. Okay? I mean, and you're being forced to do it, no questions asked. So that's something to think about. And it's getting pretty serious now. It's not just theory or just me rambling about my thoughts. This is actually happening in little increments here and there. And it's something to be frightened about.